you have no friends, congratulations. You might actually be operating on a higher level than most people around you. I know that sounds backwards. Society tells us we're supposed to be surrounded by people, constantly texting, always making plans. But psychology reveals something fascinating. People who spend long periods without friends aren't broken. They're often just wired differently. Their brains demand something most people never even think about. And if you recognize yourself in this, psychology reveals you probably have 5 rare traits. These aren't weaknesses or flaws, they're signs of a more complex, deeper mind. Let me break them down for you. Trait number 1, you've developed a sixth sense for fake people. Here's what this trait means. You become allergic to bullshit. You possess an almost supernatural ability to detect inauthenticity. You can smell a fake personality from across the room. The person who's all smiles to your face? You already know what they're saying behind your back. The friend who supports you but subtly competes with everything you do? Your brain flags it instantly. Research shows that as self-awareness increases, our tolerance for inauthentic behavior plummets. You're not being judgmental, you're being protective. Think about it. Most social circles are performance theaters. Everyone's playing a role, maintaining an image, carefully curating what they say. And somewhere along the way you just opted out. You'd rather sit in complete silence than waste 2 hours pretending to care about someone's vacation photos when you both know the friendship is hollow. That's not antisocial. That's intelligence. Trait number 2, your brain craves depth like others crave air. This is the second rare trait you have. Small talk physically hurts you, doesn't it? How's the weather? How was your weekend? Did you see that show? While others are satisfied with these surface exchanges, your brain is screaming, where's the substance? Where's the meaning? Studies on cognitive processing show that people with deeper thinking patterns literally cannot sustain themselves on shallow interactions. You need conversations about ideas, human nature, what drives us, what haunts us, what makes life worth living. You don't want to know what someone did, you want to know why they did it, what it revealed about them, what they learned. This makes you incompatible with 95% of social situations. But it also means when you do connect with someone who operates on your level, it's electric, it's rare, and it's worth the wait. That's why you're alone. You're not avoiding relationships, you're refusing to settle for counterfeits. Trait number 3, social interaction costs you more than it costs them. Here's the third rare trait you possess, and it's about energy. Most people don't understand this. Socializing isn't free. For extroverts, being around people is like charging a battery. They gain energy. They feel alive. For you, every conversation is a withdrawal from a very limited account. Psychologists call this high social sensitivity. Your nervous system processes social information more intensely. You're picking up microexpressions, analyzing tone, reading between the lines, tracking emotional undercurrents, all simultaneously. While someone else has one conversation, you're having 5 conversations in your head, processing every layer. After 2 hours of socializing, they're energized. You need 3 days of complete solitude to recover. This isn't weakness, it's depth. You're running more complex software than most people, and that requires more processing power. So you protect your energy like it's gold. Because for you, it is. Trait number 4. You built an inner world that doesn't need an audience. This fourth rare trait sets you apart dramatically. Most people panic when they're alone. They immediately reach for their phone, turn on the TV, text someone, anything to fill the silence. You? You're comfortable in that silence. You've built something rare, an internal world rich enough to sustain you. This trait is called low social dependency by researchers. Research identifies this as low social dependency. You don't need external validation to feel complete. You can entertain yourself, solve your own problems, find meaning in your own thoughts. This makes you appear distant, cold, maybe even arrogant to others. But really, you've just achieved something most people spend their whole lives chasing. You're genuinely okay with yourself. Your standards for letting someone into your world aren't just high, they're earned. Most people collect acquaintances like trading cards. You're protecting something valuable. Your peace, your energy, your space. And you're not apologizing for it anymore. Trait number 5. Your past taught you that trust is a privilege, not a right. This fifth and final rare trait you possess comes from experience. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. If you have no friends now, someone probably broke you earlier. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe childhood neglect. Maybe you were surrounded by people who called themselves friends but treated you like a convenience. Whatever it was, your brain learned a lesson and developed this protective trait. Trust is dangerous until proven otherwise. Psychology shows that once trust is violated, the brain develops what researchers call a trust threshold, a higher bar people must clear before you let them in. You don't trust easily anymore. You observe. You test. You wait. You watch how people treat others when there's nothing to gain. You notice patterns over months that most people miss in years. This makes you seem paranoid to people who've never been burned. But to anyone who's learned this lesson the hard way, you're just being smart. So let me be clear about these 5 rare traits you have. If you have few or no friends, nothing is wrong with you. Your mind works differently. With more awareness, more sensitivity, more depth, higher standards. These traits are rare because most people don't possess them. You have a richer inner world than most people will ever develop. You have sharper intuition because you've learned to trust it. You have deeper self-awareness because you've spent time with yourself. Real time, not just scrolling through a feed. Sometimes the strongest minds walk alone for a while. Not because they can't connect, but because they refuse to connect poorly. And when you finally meet someone who matches your frequency, someone who values depth, authenticity, and real conversation, that connection will be worth every lonely year you spent waiting. If this resonated with you, you're not alone in walking alone. Subscribe for more psychology that explains who you really are, not who society thinks you should be. The next video might reveal something about yourself you've never put into words.